As you open your mouth, he stops you with a gesture. Don't even talk to me right now. In awkward silence, you both make your way up to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed. Knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in thought, sucking on a cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions kept piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly, he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? His gift, our fate? Yeah, there's that. What do you think it means? His gift. Isn't there a theory that Cain was the first vampire? Oh, it's more than a theory. To some, it's a deeply held belief. And yeah, you're right. It's about the gift of Cain, as in vampirism. Our fate. Clearly, someone wasn't too happy to receive it. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Which is? Me being right. About thin blood involvement, I mean. Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Really? After all this? I'd say your thin blood theory looks pretty solid. Look, kid. The Duskborn have shitty luck as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaching the masquerade, the least I can do is some goddamn due diligence. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is. Yeah, that favor you owe me. Time to deliver. Yeah, listen, I know, you got a fresh one. The murder in Bedstuy. I think I pronounced that right. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you'd better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. Wait. Aren't cell phones an issue for the Camarilla? Only if you tell them. Look, kid. I don't use it willy-nilly, alright? It's for special occasions. You don't always have time to throw fucking rocks at windows. Can you live with that? Or should I worry about being sent to the principal's office? Relax, D. I'm not gonna rat on you. He shoots you a smile. For some reason, it seems less crooked than usual. Good to know, kid. Anyway, looks like my guy's gonna come through. Next stop, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance, bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over at the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't, or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one's following him. Finally, he stops, lights a cigarette, without even looking in your directions. He takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes." D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. "That's our cue." You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on the steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face. His features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clear sign of a vampire attack, you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. "Sucked dry, just like the last one." "Yeah. I'm guessing you noticed the teeth marks as well." He points at the 2 barely visible marks on the victim's neck. "Dead giveaway." Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you. Yet. Just as you open your mouth, desperately trying to come up with an excuse as to why you're here, D'Angelo turns into a blur of shadows and flannel. Next thing you know, he's hovering over the doctor's limp body. The gulping sound you hear confirms your suspicion. He took the opportunity to feed. Once he's done, he turned his crooked mug towards you, his stumpy fangs still dripping with blood. His smile is very red and very unnerving. "What can I say, kid? Sometimes you just go with your gut. Now come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit." Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like the time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In a mere seconds, he's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. "Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it." For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar and lifts him off the ground and smashes his back against the lamppost. "Are you finished? All right. Now you listen. Listen to me, and you listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget." For the first time since you met him, Larson's looked speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath, "You wouldn't dare. Try me." Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. "Come on, Larson, just give us something. It's been a rough night." "See, Robert, my assistant here is tired of your shit, too. So what's it gonna be? If you want my help, put me the fuck down. Put me the fuck down." With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. "There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side. One of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back into the house, looking over his shoulder, like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things you'd rather forget deal was, as if sensing your curiosity. D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on. We got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourselves standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it's abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating the shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little world, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers into your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask exactly what you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details. A knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. She seems halfway out of it. Like the lights are on, but whoever's inside stumbling around after one hell of a bender. All right. You like quiet? Got it. Can you give me your name? Sana. That's what he called me. Suddenly, you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There's a woman standing there. Something about her just screams kindred. Even though she's comically overdressed for the situation, somehow, you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously without even knowing it. As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. I was going to say cover your mouth, but she grabs you by the throat. The woman looks at you, tilting her head, as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift, as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You. Hey, Val. That's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen, and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Guinea. The Manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself. The girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too. Look, sweetie. I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. I kind of imagine like this. You look at the corner where you last saw Sana, but find no trace of the girl. Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. I should probably read the whole thing before I wave goodbye. No, come here. Come here. Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing, and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid. I know you've got questions, but it's getting early, and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Valerie, huh? So who the hell is she? She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the ass. If she finds that girl before we do, we'll never find out why she did what she did. And before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid? I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a rough night.